Hey, beautiful people, welcome to episode 13 of Credit 101. Now, in this episode, we're going to talk about the FICO Resilience Index. And this right here, you guys, is something that we all need to know about because they're not using just our FICO scores. Now, they're looking at other factors, and you guys need to know about these factors and how to actually use them to your best benefit so that it's not hurting you, but it's actually helping you. If you know what they want to see, then you can have the best credit possible or have the best score possible, which this score is from 1 to 99. You can have the best score possible so that when you want to apply for something, you know you're getting approved and you're getting a nice, decent limit or you're getting fair terms. Now, let's go ahead and check out the website. So I went and I pulled this up. And this is what the website actually looked like, you guys. So this is what you guys are going to see on the website. Now, this is the FICO Resilience Index. Now, with this index, you guys, they're basically saying or how resilient you are if there were to be a downturn. Okay. So again, it's from a scale 1 to 99. The lower values representing that you can actually handle it. You can handle something that was to happen. Okay. So say if it was a downturn in the market, especially knowing that everybody's saying, oh, it's going to crash, it's going to crash. They want to know how good you're going to be. How can you handle all your debts if there was to be a crash? So that's what this is, the FICO resilience score. So I actually made sure I put a little notes down about it. So I kind of want to read these different things to you. So I want to talk about the score so you guys can know where the scores is at. And then also I want to talk to you guys about what you need to do to make sure that your score is high, because that's all you need to do. You need to make sure that your scores are high. Again, your scores are between 1 and 99. So if you guys have a score of 1 through 44, that means you're more resilient. So you guys are more prepared if something was to crash, okay? If something was to happen, something was happening in your life, that means that you're more resilient. You're not going to be the person that have all their credit cards closed, have all these collections. You're able to pay it. You have this under control. The next one is 45 to 59. That means you're moderate. So moderate means that something may happen, but it ain't gonna be the major. You're still kind of good, okay? That's what that is going to mean. Now, 60 to 69, your sensitive risk. So that means that if you guys have that, that means that you gonna have something happen. Like it's gonna be, but it don't have to be severe. Okay. Now 70 to 99, that means it's gonna be severe. Everything collapsing. You're not gonna be able to pay anything. You probably have to file bankruptcy. This is very, very bad when you're at this place. Okay. That means you're not gonna be unable, you're gonna be unable to recover from this. Okay. And that's what this is going to tell them by looking at your score. So I don't want everybody to be 1 through 44. Okay. So this is some things I want. So if you're 1 through 44, that means you have a lower credit score. With this one, you want to have a lower credit score. That means that you're more experienced with managing your credit. You have lower total revolving balances. So that's someone who's not maxing out their credit cards. So that means that if you're not maxing out your credit cards, that means that you can easily pay them off. So that's why I tell people to have a low utilization. That way, if something was to happen, you ain't really got nothing you got to pay back, you know? So you're more resilient. Plus, you have fewer active accounts. You don't have too many active accounts. Sometimes, honestly, I have a lot of active accounts right now, but I don't have a balance on all of them. I have a lot of credit cards right now. But still, I don't have a balance on them, which means that I can still be resilient. But I think probably because I have a lot of accounts, probably because of zero balance. I don't know where I would be in this, but still, don't have a lot of accounts. That's the thing. And then fewer credit inquiries in the past year. So if you guys have a lot of inquiries within the past year, that means that you guys are not resilient, okay? But you guys need to know more about this. Definitely Google it. Google the resilience index, because sometimes you're going to wonder, why did I get denied? Why did I get denied? Not knowing that they're looking at other factors, okay? They're looking at other things. They're not just looking at your FICO score. So keep this in mind, you guys. I just want to tell you guys about this so you can know about it. Welcome to episode 14 of Credit 101. In this episode, we're going to talk about what Equifax says about what is negatively affecting people and their approvals. Everybody's trying to get approved for credit cards. So if you guys hear any of this and it applies to you, let's go ahead and work on it, okay? Because these are the things that they're saying that's a negative negatively affecting people. Go ahead and drop a comment down below if you guys want to include anything, or if you guys have any questions, go ahead and drop them down below in the comments. So the first thing is late or missed payments. We know that FICO, we talked about this a few episodes back, that they're going to base 35% of our credit score off of our payment history. So if we know that they're doing that, you guys, we need to make sure that we don't have later missed payments. We need to have everything set on auto pay. If you have a late payment or a missed payment, that means you have not been listening to me. Put everything on auto pay. And what I do too is I have a spreadsheet of all of my bills, and I have a spreadsheet of all of my credit cards. Even if it's on auto pay, you guys, I always go back. I always go back, and I just set up for the minimum payment. So I have to pay my Discover credit card. It's an example. I have to pay my Discover credit card. I have it set for the minimum payment, but I have to go back and I have to pay the remaining amount. So I still want to go back and see, what day is due, because I want to go back a day or two before and pay it, you guys. I can't have a late payment, okay? And don't forget, if you have a late payment on your credit reports, that means that you're really late, because they're not going to report you late until you 30 days late. Nobody gonna know about it until you 30 days late. That means that you're not checking your accounts, which is bad. That means you're not on top of things. Also, if you have accounts in collections, if you have collection accounts, that's stopping you from getting approved. You need to get those late payments and also get those collection accounts removed from your credit reports. Some of these accounts would do like a pay for deletion, where you can pay them, settle it out, pay them probably 40% of what you actually owe, 30%, sometimes 50%, and they'll delete it from your credit reports. That's going to help you guys out a lot. I remember I was being very, very stubborn with a certain account. I didn't want to pay it, but when I finally just paid it, and it had everything correct, you guys, I couldn't do anything. When I paid it, my credit score went up 64 points. And I'm like, oh my gosh. This is years ago, but still, it's a great example, because you may be going through it. You may be I don't want to pay it. I don't pay that account, get it out the way, okay? Or you may have recent or unknown delinquencies. You may be delinquent on these accounts. Okay, those are different things that you guys have to think about. So make sure you guys get that fixed. Too many delinquent accounts. You may have more than one account that's negative or delinquent, and these can be charge-offs too, you guys. Those charge-offs that says paid, it's still bad. It's still on there and it's bad, you guys. So too many of those delinquent accounts balances are too high. You're maxing out your credit cards. If you max out your credit cards, who want to borrow your money? Y'all remember the thing when they talk about family, you owe so many family members, you go talk to that last family member. They're not going to borrow your money because they already heard you owe everybody else money. They're not going to want to give you credit because they think you're going to max them out. And if you max their credit card out, then it's a very, very low chance that you're going to pay it back. So that's why if you have high balances on credit cards, they're not going to want to help you out, okay? They're not going to approve you. Also, if you have high balances on your accounts, on your auto loans, you just got an auto loan and you have a high balance, that can also hurt you too. And also, if you guys have too many new accounts without much history, that's going to also hurt you guys. So you guys want to make sure that you start building history on these accounts. Chase have their rule that they don't want you to have too many new accounts, and a lot of other companies have the same thing. If you have too many new accounts, they're not going to want to give you a credit card. They want these accounts to get old first, okay? And too many accounts with balances. If you have a lot of accounts with balances, especially when it comes down to a mortgage, because they're going to look at your debt to income ratio. If you guys have a lot of accounts with balances, they have to add up all of your monthly payments, and that amount can be great. You may think, oh, well, my monthly payment only $50 here, $60 there, $100 there. All of that stuff add up to a high amount. So they're not going to want to give you a credit card when they see these different things. So it's episode 15 of Credit 101. In this episode, I want us to talk about medical debts and which medical debts can be included on your credit reports. So July 1st, 2023, all paid medical debts must be removed from your credit reports. That was the thing. If you guys paid your medical debts, it had to be removed from your credit reports. Don't forget, medical debt is just a collection, basically. Before, if you paid it, it didn't matter. They're just going to say paid as agreed, paid, settled for less than, but paid in full. They'll have different things like that on your credit reports, but now they have to be removed from your credit report. So again, that's July 1st, 2023. Those paid ones must have been removed. Now, a new thing is that medical debts can only be added after 1 year. So now they have to make sure they wait 1 year. I think at first it was only you have to wait only 180 days. Now they have to wait a whole year before they put in your credit reports. So that gives you time to figure out these expenses. Don't forget medical expenses. We don't know when this stuff is going to happen a lot of times. So they're giving you guys a whole year to figure it out. Get on the payment plan with them. If you guys have medical debt, try to figure it out. Figure out the insurance can pay it, but you have a whole year to figure it out before it gets added to your credit reports. Now, if that debt is under $500, it cannot be added to your credit reports, and that is really good. I usually see petty debt on people's credit reports from medical bills like $43, and a lot of times it's just a copay. But you guys understand how much those medical bills, that medical debt can affect your credit score. So I'm so happy that they did this. Now, FICO 9 and your Vantage score, it give less weight to medical collections. And if you guys are also purchasing a house, it also give you less weight, but still medical bills is a collection. If you guys have them removed from your credit reports, you'll see your credit scores go up. And if your credit scores go up from something being removed, that means that it did have some damage there. It shouldn't go up if it, if it didn't affect it, right? So just make sure you guys follow these different steps in terms of just making sure you call them, try to see if you can settle it out, or try to just get it removed if it's an error on there too. A lot of medical debt is from collection companies like AmeriCollect, and they're re-aging your debt. So we're going to talk about the whole dispute process. We're going to dig deep into that. So keep that in your mind that you can dispute these debts. But remember, anything under $500, it better not be on there. So remember that FICO 9, they're not going to take medical, not FICO 9, but if you guys are buying a home, they're not going to take any medical debt into consideration at all into your FICO score, into your score that they give you. So that's something that's really good. And then again, other debt that was still on your credit reports that's over $500, and it's been after a year, it's been on it for you had this debt for more than a year. They can only stay on your credit reports for 7 years. So keep that in mind. It's a collection. So it can stay on there for 7 years. So let's actually go into episode 16 where we're going to talk about vets, because vets have different rights when it comes down to medical debt. So let's go ahead and talk about the medical debts for vets. Welcome to episode 16 of Credit 101. In this episode, we're going to talk about medical debts, but we're going to talk about it for vets. We talked about medical debts already in episode 16, but now I want you guys to know the additional rights that vets have. And I was so surprised when I read up on this, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't understand that they had all these different rights. And I'm pretty sure just a lot of people that's a vet don't even know these different things. So I want everybody to know this information. If you guys have questions, drop it down below in the comments. Now, the first thing I want you guys to understand is that certain debts cannot be included. So they cannot just put all debts on there. Like with medical debts for just regular consumers, you're not a vet. As long as it's over $500 and it's been more than a year since you got that debt, it's going on there if it's a medical debt. But that's not the same when you're a vet. So debts that you owe to non-VA providers, but if it was authorized by the VA, they cannot add that on your credit reports. So that's something that's very, very important. So keep that in mind. Also, medical debts for bills. Say if you guys have bills that was wrongfully charged by the VA, they cannot put that on your credit reports. And that's why you guys have to look at your credit reports, see what's on there, so that you guys can fight these different things and make sure that they're not including them on your credit reports. Paid or settled delinquent charge-offs or collection, all these different debts have to be removed. Again, I told you guys about all paid medical collections must be removed. It's the same thing with them too, but includes charge-off, or if you just settle the accounts, they have to remove it from your credit reports. Now they have to make sure that they follow all these different things. There's 3 things that they have to follow. And if they follow these different things, they can put on your credit reports. Like if you have all 3 of these different things, they can't put in your credit reports. But if they don't have them, they cannot put in your credit reports. So if the debt is not collectible, they can't put in your credit reports. If the balance is not over $25, they cannot put in your credit reports. And also, if you are determined to be disabled, or your reported gross household income is not if it's not below the limits, then they can't put in your credit report. So you got to think about your income, you got to think about the balance of the amount, and then also you want to consider if it's collectible or not. This was a topic I had to make sure I put it on here to make sure that I really read everything. And I have to look this way and all my notes are here. So definitely check out my blog because I talk about all this stuff in detail so you guys can know exactly what's going on, and you guys can be like, okay, you know what? They can't put this on my credit reports, and then that could be a better way for you to fight it and get it removed. Let's go on to episode 17. We're going to talk about the Vantage score. We talked about FICO, but now we're going to get into the Vantage score.